Alfie, such a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful place you built here. Tell me, where's the idea coming from to have natural food, eatery, steaks, veggies, fish, everything in one place?
I usually tell everybody it was from an LSD trip that I was on, but that's not really the truth. Never tried the stuff, but it's really been a lifetime of experience of loving the grocery business. I grew up really just selling produce. Produce is still my main passion, but as I grew in business, I really love to go to around the country and go to different stores, and then we started getting into my first store into a little bit of prepared food, not to the extent that Seed to Table became, but I just started really paying attention to it, and it's probably maybe 10 or maybe 12 years ago, I had this vision of creating a store that would be more experiential, going through the aisles of the regular grocery store, and then seeing so many items that I wouldn't put into my body, like processed food, things that I know what the end result of is in that product of chemicals, and even the flours, the genetically modified flour, and even a lot of the meats with additives and things like that. And the more I learned about good food, the less I like going into a regular grocery store. I was at the share group meeting with a bunch of other gentlemen that own grocery store. I was telling them, and this is, let's say, well over 10 years ago, I was telling them about this concept that I was going to have a store that was going to be 80,000 square feet with no aisles in it. And they're like, yeah, let me know how that works out for you. Because I was telling them also that I wanted to do everything from scratch. And they're like, well, you know how much labor that would be? You know, and labor being a concern, you know, even now with labor costs and you know, in different areas of the country where they're not as blessed as we are here to have done the right thing, labor's a problem. But you know, we have over 600 people working just in this store alone. Hey! How you guys doing? I want to know if these strips are made from scratch, from the bottom up or not.
Yes, from scratch. That's our chicken stock right there. We start with bones, and then we make all our soups out front. They're packaged.
It's all bones in here. Come in the daytime, and all these are all full, some with vegetables and different stocks. We have no problem getting more people.
And the quality is in the name, right? From seed to table, you have unorganic stuff.
Not everything is all militant organic, but we take, like a lot of the things are, like our flour is, not only is it militant organic flour, but it's heirloom flour. So the DNA profile of that wheat is the same that your grandparents would have had. So that's why they didn't have gluten intolerance. The people have gluten intolerance today, not because the people are built different, it's because the wheat, that's the DNA profile in 99% of the wheat that people eat today is 20 times bigger than your own human DNA. It's not supposed to be like that. That's why our stomachs don't break it down. We sell raw milk here. I have a bunch of our own cows. You know, we milk the cows, it's raw, and the health benefits of that are amazing. And all of the products that we make in the kitchen have 0 preservatives. The breads, we make probably 40 different types of breads every single day, and they got a 1-day shelf life here at the store, but there's no preservatives in it. So just basically doing things the way that our great-grandparents did it.
So I can see that the price is premium here, but you get the premium, right?
Yeah.
Everything is natural. You shop here, you're 100% sure it's a healthy food.
Yeah, for what we offer, I think we have amazing prices. We have a militant organic store where everything in that store is nothing but organic, called Food and Thought. And I started doing these kind of classes, and we named it the high cost of cheap food. So people started saying, well, I can't afford to eat good. Well, you know, eventually you pay the price, whether it's being sick down the road or you know, and I guess one of the shams is, well, I can get insurance and then I don't have to pay for all my illnesses and all my medications. Well, if you invest the money in eating the right food first, you don't need any of the medications. You won't be ill. You know, that's I came out, and I think this might be where you were going with that second segment about the COVID. But I was sitting out here, you know, more than a year and a half ago, at the time when the very, very first hints of COVID were started, and I was telling everyone, you don't need to worry about the COVID-19 virus. All you need to worry about is keeping your immune system healthy. At that particular time, when people were losing their minds, I was getting a bunch of hate mail, you know, telling me I'm an idiot. Why am I going to listen to a grocery store owner? But here we are now, you know, a year and a half later. We never social distance. We never masked. We never shut down. We never stopped hugging and kissing each other, eating healthy, getting sunshine.
Because immune system here is very strong.
Immune system's everything. Company-wide, we have 3,200 employees. No one's died. 70 people got sick in our whole company, and every one of them were back to work within 5 days. Well, I said, that's not true. 2 people were sick for more like a 10-day, two-week period, but and they were actually, believe it or not, some of the harder working people that I have that happen to get caught that way. So I do realize that some people can individually take this virus harder than others, even when given the right treatment. We were able to give every single employee that came down with the virus the right treatment. We have our internal doctors here. We gave them ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and vitamin D and vitamin C, and they just kept going until they were better. And most people, after 2 or 3 treatments, 2 or 3 days, were feeling better and back to work in 5. And I mean, that's the way I wish our country would have been handled. But for whatever reason, and you know, it hasn't been handled that way. We're supposed to go fishing next week, so hopefully the wind's not blowing like it was today.
Oh, tell you what, man, it's been good out there, man.
Yeah, the farmers been bringing fish every Wednesday. We've been doing it, you know, so good stuff. Hello, how you doing?
Good.
To see you. So one of the things with the steaks we'll do, with the steaks on a busy night, we'll do 300, even up to 500 steaks a night that we cook and that people eat here.
There's a lot of talk about broken supply chain right now. I understand you have your own farms, so people that shop at this location, they don't have to worry that much. You have your own stuff that you bring to the store.
So we have 3,000 acres that we grow, even the stuff that we don't grow. So I don't have beef cattle. I do have milk cows, but I don't have beef cattle. But the gentleman that we buy all the beef from is a company that I've been doing business with for years. I know the owner of the company, and we're not going to get shorted on product. It's not going to happen.
Personal connections.
It's all personal connections. You know, even during the COVID time when there was groceries, you started seeing, you know, I don't know how long ago it was, a year and a few months ago, when the grocery store shelves were all bare. It was the meat cases were empty in the store. We were full. Everyone would come in here. It's like, it looks like you're not missing one item. And we go the extra effort as well. I bought about $10 million worth of additional seed to have seed put away because I felt like seed was going to be. No. Part of what we do is try to put our money into places where the money's going into the right pockets, and Monsanto's not one of those companies that I think is the right pocket. When they have a pretty good, you know, stranglehold on the market in a lot of items. But we buy all of our seeds from a company based out of Holland, and they do a great job for us. And it's not genetically modified anything. As a matter of fact, when I was over there in Holland, and I took some of the flour that we get from Utah, and I just wanted to have them put it in their machine to test the DNA on it, just to make sure, because I pay 3 times more per bag, right, than like Pillsbury. I just wanted to make sure that I'm getting a good, and it was. I bought when I flew over there, I brought the bag of the regular Pillsbury flour and the bag of ours from Central Milling is the name of the mill, and it was just like they said it would be. So and the people feel the difference. I mean, people that could not eat bread would feel sick from it, eat our breads every day, and it digests the way that it's supposed to. So.
I was sitting in New Jersey, I believe, beginning of the year, and then on all the media channels, I see this naughty guy in Florida who defies the system and says, come in without the mask. If you have medical conditions, I got all the rules on the wall. Come in.
Yeah, I think that's what pissed them off, is all these people are happy, having a good time, and they're not wearing masks. This looks like it must be pre-pandemic, but it's not. The truth is nobody was dying. If we were doing that and people were dying, then we wouldn't be doing it. Our customers wouldn't be putting up with that, but that's not the case. So we disproved that fear. The real virus was, in my opinion, was the media and the fear of the virus, right? The way that we handled it. I'm not saying I'm not a COVID denier. I'm not denying that there was not a virus, but I wasn't a denier of the flu virus of any of the years previous. Every year I believe there's a flu season, there's a flu virus. And could this virus have been slightly a little bit more difficult for some people to deal with? Absolutely. People are starting to wake up. It takes a while, but the fear is the biggest thing. And I've never been a fearful person. I started out poor. I started selling tomatoes out of the back of a pickup truck. We built the company up to a $500+ million a year company, and it's from taking chances, not being afraid, And we've had our bumps just like everybody. I've been broke 3 different times. And one of the reasons that I felt so bold about coming out against this too early is I spent about 2.5 hours on a phone call with the epidemiologist before all Senator Rick Scott. I told him, we're not ever going to shut down. We're not doing any of this stuff. I'm going to keep hugging me. He said, I don't know. He says, you might, at the very beginning. And he said, why don't we, he says, you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Let's go on a call, 3-way call. And I talked to this guy that was a epidemiologist that consulted to the military. And his agenda was to basically, in that conversation, talk me out of maybe not thinking the right way. But after I got off the phone with him, I knew that I was right. I knew 100%, and because he was honest, he wasn't. Yeah. He didn't have any political narrative. He was just giving me the facts, and I never recorded that call. I wish I would have, because everything that he said was pretty accurate. He said the people we have to worry about are people that have pre-existing conditions that are very old, that it could spread. He says, but as far as like healthy people, young people, very little to ever worry about, especially if they're given the right medication. My thoughts is that the mask actually did so much more damage. I've never worn a mask in my life except Ivanka Trump. I was with her giving away boxes at Christmas time. She asked me if I would, while I was doing it, put something over my mouth. I put a scarf on my mouth for like 45 minutes. And then I put one on one other time for like 5 minutes because I wanted to go give the school board hell. And they told me to go in, I had to put it on, and then I ended up taking it off, and after 5 minutes anyway. But those are the only 2 times ever in my life that I did it, just because I felt like I had to play the game. Certainly not because I was afraid and I thought it was protecting me, and because I certainly know that the masks have never protected, in my opinion, one single person from getting the virus. Yeah. What it did do is take people that were in that pre-existing condition spectrum and make them where they are actually more susceptible to get the virus. If you're a person that's very obese or has other health conditions or very old, and then you put a mask on and you watch your O2 levels go down, and there's been a lot of tests that's done like that. You watch your oxygen levels go down, and that makes them susceptible. Now, healthy folks like us, we can put the mask on and it's a pain in the ass. We're probably not going to make or break the difference of whether we're going to get COVID or die from COVID,
What's next for Seed to Table? Are you expanding, or that's good?
Yeah, well, the company is expanding in leaps and bounds, but I'm not doing it with a store right now. I never say never, but this is more of a passion. As you can see, I love all my people. I spent incredible amount of time getting to know everyone. I definitely invested a good 1.5 to 2 years solid, like every day of my life to make this happen. And not that I wouldn't do it again, but I really did build this store to be for me to be around the energy and the people and the love and all that I wanted to be around, and I don't really need 2 of them. So there's only one of me, and I built it. You could say selfishly to be around this energy, but we're also my game plan is 100% employee owned. So I've told my kids. My oldest is 32. My youngest is 18. I told them, you're never getting any money from me. I'm not leaving you any money. Don't worry, wait for a family legacy, because I feel like I'd do them an injustice by having them wait for me to die to collect something or whatever. So they're doing their own thing, and the legacy of wherever the company goes will be for the employees.
All the good luck to you.
Yeah,
and the energy of this place is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I have to say, when you were walking here to show me a little bit around, all the people that stop by and shake your hand and say hi, it seems that you know almost every customer here, and now you know me.
Yeah, it is. It's there's a lot of great energy and love in the air. My father taught me that. My father died about 8 years ago, and even though he never made any money ever in his life, he had an organic store. And what I realized when he died is he lived his life exactly how he wanted to live it, because he was around the food and the energy and all the things he wanted to be around. And it was pretty much that epiphany that I had watching him. And even though he died, he didn't need a single birth certificate. He didn't have a credit card, a life insurance policy, a bank account, a car, a house. He didn't have anything in his name, but he had 1,500 people show up to his funeral, and everyone just said how much they affected his life. And I'm like, that's the way that I would like to be remembered. And it really changed my trajectory to build a place where it's a little bigger than what his store was, but the same premise, that I would be around all of the amazing energy, and it's really what makes makes
Well, feeling
life
the
fun.
energy
Yeah.
here, I think that's what's gonna happen. Again,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time.
Take care.